All right, Backdoor. For a second, we thought of putting Backdoor up after Vibes, but that would have been too much.
Thanks, Miles. Yeah, we gotta work on a partnership or something with those guys. I don't know, it's so weird. It's too real.
So we've got brothers on stage tonight. That's pretty cool, right? Who's the older brother?
I'm the older brother.
Yeah?
That's right.
Who's the younger brother? Who's the smarter brother?
Yeah, man, it's debatable.
That's all right. But you're both good looking, so that's all right. So this is Jeremy and Justin. They're both co-founders of Backdoor.
Working title. If anybody's got any feedback on that, we can talk afterwards.
Okay.
So just to do an intro on ourselves really quick, Justin Vandehey, Jeremy, both co-founders, both from the Midwest. Yeah, Wisconsin, go Badgers. Moved out, we both ended up working at Intuit actually as product managers there, so spent some time in their employee solutions division, payroll, work management, and kind of did a number of things, got the startup bug, both separated. I went more the enterprise sales, B route. Jeremy was more focused on product and building value. And in both of our respective fields, we spent time hiring and growing teams. And we realized on the sales front, as I grew out my sales organization, and Jeremy grew out and tried to source and find product managers, that it's really difficult to find quality people. And if you look at the marketplace today, and services out there, not knocking, Reed and the work he's done with LinkedIn, and a lot of services like Glassdoor, that our social networks and our professional presence is often what we project out and what the external world wants to see of us, whether it's endorsements. And we felt like as we looked at different recruiting solutions out there, that there was an opportunity to really get a more authentic view of what it's like to work with Jeremy Vandehey on a day-to-day basis, which is interesting. And so that's really what we started out with that mission in mind, was how can we take the authentic and anonymous, more importantly anonymous feedback about those that we interact with on the day-to-day and surface it in a way that's valuable. And so that's how the brainchild for Backdoor came about. We launched officially in July, and we've done quite a few interesting tests as we've gone to market, and we'll go through a demo of the actual application, but have been growing at a really fast rate and finding that people want a place to share that feedback where it's not readily available in other channels. And we'll talk a little bit more about the user acquisition strategy, but I thought I'd give it to Jeremy to actually walk through the product, and we can dive in a little bit further.
Thank you, Justin. So we'll switch to the demo. This is the core of Backdoor. So everybody has a profile. This is Justin's profile. You can see nobody wants to talk shit about the founder of the company.
It's one of the benefits of being a founder,
Yeah, so all this feedback is anonymous. I'm going to go ahead and vote him down on stage just because I can. But it's pretty simple right now. It's just, would you recommend like a net promoter score of the people that we're working with, our coworkers, and then anonymous qualitative feedback. And we just recently launched private feedback. So you can see, I'm not going to type in real time, but let's say I don't work with Justin every day, but I work with him a little bit. And I wanted to say, Justin's a great salesperson. He can be a little pushy. I could leave that feedback on his wall, and future salespeople or even clients that he's talking to know to look out for Justin because he's super pushy. But since I do work with Justin quite a bit, I can now send him anonymous and private feedback, so something that doesn't go right to his wall. It actually just goes to his inbox. I can say, Justin, you kind of sucked at new tech and you need to work on your presentation skills. Something that might not be appropriate for everybody, but it will help Justin turn into a better presenter, employee, and co-founder, which is really what we want to do. A lot of people have hesitancies towards anonymous networks. So we're trying to do a couple of things. One, using LinkedIn as authentication to make sure most of the feedback is constructive and actually, push the user towards caring about their professional development every single day, because they know that they're being rated and will get feedback. So I'm going to go to my profile. So this is me logging in myself, and I will talk through a couple of things. So you see the score there, which is it's a pretty simple calculation right now. It's basically total upvotes divided by total upvotes plus downvotes. But it basically gives people looking at my profile an overall sense of what I'm like to work with. We also, because we're using LinkedIn, build out through their API all of your LinkedIn connections. We create profiles for them, so you can log in and rate and review all of the people that you've ever worked with. We have some achievements and badges, which is fun. And then down here is kind of the dashboard of feedback I've received, as well as these tabs I'm not going to show you because it's the people that I've praised or talked shit about on Backdoor. So clicking on your connections tab, you can see all the people that you've worked with, and you can drill in on any single one of these, vote them up, down, leave feedback. I lost my cursor here. But you can also search a little bit more broadly. So we've enabled you to search the entire platform by name, by job title, by company. As Justin said, we're growing the network, so we're at around 325,000 profiles that you can search. So chances are you'll be able to find somebody that you care about, for better or worse. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're looking to, we're in the middle, we're still pretty early on growing the platform, but starting the fundraising conversations to really ramp up user acquisition and figuring out if this is the right product for the right market. Thanks.
Nice work. Reset the clock. Hands up.
Have you thought about doing a real Net Promoter Score instead of the yay nay?
So like a 0 to 10 ratio? Yeah, so we actually tested that pretty early on, and we found that it was, for one reason or another, just difficult for users to quantify if they would recommend working with someone or not. So engagement was pretty low, but when we switched over to yay or nay or yes or no, it drove like a 300% increase in the likelihood of somebody leaving feedback on someone else.
So if this is widely adopted and you're going through LinkedIn, so I understand verification, but what about fraudulent claims, or is there a reporting process if you want to take something off of your wall and you feel that you're being unfairly represented?
Yeah, so right now the tools are pretty simple. We're building background systems to check for things that are either slanderous or not constructive, or just say like this person fucking sucks, which doesn't, we don't want that stuff on Backdoor. We want it to be more constructive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of what we're looking at general sentiment too, and then also trends at the time. So you can start to do some interesting learning around the type of content that's left qualitatively to either way. We had somebody log in from Nigeria last week and hack us and left, you could left just like 50 negative reviews down to the it's probably a good sign that we're getting hacked, but at the same time, like we need to put the infrastructure in place to, to lock it down a little bit. And I think over time, and I'll just elaborate too on this, I think the big focus is, and it's interesting, I don't know if you want to pull up Godfrey Sullivan's profile, because a lot of our user acquisition at first was sending out mass emails, and we did this with Airbnb and a bunch of other companies where people were authenticating, signing, and leaving feedback for C-level executives. And so they're sharing their profiles, they're engaging pretty regularly. And I actually went to a Tony Robbins event in Dallas about 3 weeks ago, and I think there's an opportunity as a business to really start to inject professional coaching and personal improvement tools to make this a constructive service. And most of the feedback that's actually been shared, it's about 80-20, 80% positive, 20% constructive. Needs to be medicated, things like that. There's some people that get pretty harsh, but at the same time, we feel like there's an opportunity to really build a constructive service that improves the professional workplace.
I have two questions. One is a product question and then a growth question. Product question, when people leave the anonymous but private feedback, is the recipient able to, I guess, reply or enable in some sort of conversation with the person who provided the feedback? And then growth question, are you guys, like, I guess, how are you guys thinking of growing? Are you guys like trying to target like companies, then have all the employees in the company use the system, or is it more broadly?
Yeah, so your first question, not yet. The rebuttal and making sure that people can improve upon the feedback that they've received is a big opportunity for us. Just being able to ask that person a question or elaborate and understand, where they got that use case from, or if it was a certain meeting. We don't have that built yet, but that's definitely coming. Giving people an opportunity to, improve and change that person's perspective on my professional performance is a big part of where we see this going. And to your second question around growth, it's definitely, we've done a couple of tests inside of companies. I won't use the company name, but we basically just, it's the Trojan horse strategy essentially of, we blasted into a company, like I said, I won't use the name, but we sent 120 employees emails, and by the end of the 2-day test, it got opened over, 1,200 times or something like that. So once we get inside of a company, it's pretty sticky, and people have a tendency to share and say, hey, look what current employees are saying about our leadership, or our CMO or our CEO.
Actually, like 2 weeks ago, it's funny you bring that up. I was at Dreamforce, and I was asking myself, like, what would I say to Benioff if I was going to pitch him this? Because, there's an intersection, I think, around how this ties into the performance management suite, Work.com, Workday, Taleo. There's so many different HR systems out there. Actually ran into Benioff. He thought the name was pretty interesting, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to figure out where this plugs into the workforce management space. As Jeremy mentioned, the Trojan horse solution seems like the way to build a powerful network effect. But as far as monetization, there's a few things we're testing out, from premium access to being able to own your identity, channel play around how does your professional reputation or your professional credit score act as a synergistic point to taking out a mortgage, or other ways that this can align with your identity.
One more quick question over here.
Yeah.
Can you wait back?
Sorry. Yeah.
Can you share any kind of engagement or growth numbers at this point, and how do people find this and get it set up? And
Yeah. Right now, I mean, it's pretty grassroots, man. Like we've been blasting in initially to companies to get the viral loop going. We tweaked the first use experience to improve sign up and encourage people to start to do more. I think some of the metrics, we've grown about 600% month over month since launching in July, so it's been growing fast. People are starting to share more frequently. I think we've seen like the average user, so 80-20 is the split between positive and negative. The average user when we initially started was like 1 profile view. Now we've got up to about 7 per session. And the average active user comes back about 2.5 times a week. And that's the other thing too, is figuring out how this ties into the workday. How it ties into the workday and how you can start to more actively use this over the course of the week. So like a 360 tool, things like that. So continue to drive engagement, get more people out. As far as general user growth, we're still trying to answer that one. Lead bullets, man, that's horrible. It says just keep lead bullets, my friend. So
Right on, guys. Well, nice work.
yeah, thank you guys.
Backdoor.